welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Pokemon, the podcast where we talk about everything and anything Pokemon. And yeah, it's been a little while. Been very busy finishing up my dissertation paper. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that. I am in a doctoral program, and my main focus right now is that just getting this paper done so that way I can just focus on whatever else I want to, because I think that's just the biggest burden in my life right now. It's just that paper that I need to get done as soon as possible. And it's just not, there are a lot of stuff to talk about Pokemon, but there's not a lot of like big things that get me like really excited and long enough to really have like a long conversation, which is kind of like why I've been waiting every other week to do news until I can get like some sort of consistency going as far as what to report. Do I have the time to report it? And, you know, what are my overall opinions? Because with my opinions, I like to like let time settle before I actually give out my full-blown opinion. Otherwise, like, what is that called? Like the honeymoon phase of some sort of new product, and then after like so many times using it, you're like, it's okay. So yeah, it's been a couple weeks. YouTube has skyrocketed, and by skyrocket, I'm not meaning like in the hundreds, but I think before, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I think before the last few episodes, I was like at 198, and now I'm at 320 subscribers, which is just like mind-blowing to me. Like, I don't know where all this is coming from, except for the fact that like most of my views and comments have been coming from my binder video, and I know I've said that before already, but it's just like there's more comments coming in. Oh, shout out to I believe the name is Becky, and that's all I'm going to say as far as the name goes, that left a comment on one of my videos from one of my podcast episodes, which was kind of exciting. It was like, oh, somewhat of a recent watch, like a recent thing of mine. And so that's pretty cool. So thank you, Becky, for making your comments. I appreciate it. And yes, the intro song, let me clarify about the intro song, because I started leaving it out of the show notes, but Pallet Town is probably like my favorite, if not my favorite, then definitely like the top 5 of all Pokemon themes in all of the games. And I just hearing a remix of Pallet Town. Well, first of all, I couldn't like just put Pallet Town as my intro because obviously copyright reason. You have to find like some sort of remix version or some sort of talked over version. And I found this remix version and I just loved it so much. And I was like, oh, I got to use this for my intro. And I know you're supposed to credit the music and everybody, and I did. I think for like the first, I don't know, 10 to 20 episodes, I did credit the person that did do the music. But then as I go into their profile and you're like, oh, you know, if you want to I guess get a download of this, go to this link, and I click on the link and it goes to nothing. There's like no way of tracking this person, and so like I don't want it to get out there where it's like, oh, this is like Spartan Strikes music. No. This is not my intro. Like at some point, I do want to change the intro. That maybe I'll learn how to like remix my own, you know, theme song. Something super simple. I still want it to be the Pallet Town theme song, but you know, I wanted it to be clear that it is someone else's music. So they get all the credit and everything for it. I think it was they were like, yeah, just go ahead and use it. Just make sure you just give me the credit for it, like put my name somewhere or whatever. And so, you know, you can look back on the first 10 or 20 episodes for that person's name. I think it's just their YouTube channel, because I don't think they have any other profiles. I remember going extensive with making sure that if there's a way I can get a hold of this person or track this person, I can, but there wasn't. So I think after realizing that, like the third time I tried investigating, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna leave it out of the comments, but I'm also like, if it ever comes up, I'm not going to like give a fight as to like, oh, I'm claiming a song. No, it's definitely not. But yeah, it's such a good song, and I love the intro so much. And Becky was just saying like how it just gets her going. Like it's nostalgia. It's nostalgia hitting. I love the Pallet Town theme song. So yeah, that's just little backstory as far as the song goes. But yeah, thank you again, Becky, for the comment. Appreciate it. And what else has been going on? I got the Ralladon in Pokemon Unite. I had a little bit of fun time with that, but I think I'm always just gonna stick to Blastoise. I really love Blastoise's build, and I think at some point maybe I'll discuss how I use Blastoise and what I usually do in Pokemon Unite. Not that I like take it super seriously, but I still try to do the Battle Pass stuff and everything, because I still find Pokemon Unite so much fun to play. But what I do want to mainly discuss in this episode is Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and a lot of the mythicals that are coming out. Some of the, I guess, not necessarily backlash, but just like some concerns or some kind of slight issues of like that's of being able to obtain these mythicals and how it's coming about, and is this really all that we're getting for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl? Because it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the discussion now. So I remember back then when I was talking about my review or my impressions of Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, I think the first thing I highlighted, and I even said that it's kind of a problem if like this is what I'm highlighting, the most important thing is the water effects. The water effects are beautiful. Still hold to this day, the water effects are great. But there is just, for me, there's just no replayability to this. Despite how expansive that underground is, I never really cared for the underground, and so it didn't really do anything for me to come back to it over and over again. In fact, until like maybe yesterday, I did not touch Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, in my case, Brilliant Diamond, since I defeated Cynthia. Which was 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks after the initial release date of the game. So yeah, I just never gone back into it, and I just didn't care for it. I was just like, it's so slow. It's very like draining and exhausting to go through all of these battles, and I don't know. For me, there's just no incentive to go back and catch all the Pokemon, I guess. And I said this way, way, way before even these remakes were announced. I just didn't think Diamond and Pearl needed remakes to happen to begin with. Now, that's not to say there aren't some positives to it, because there are. Like, I still like the art style too. I think it's still really cute. I think it's still really colorful. Again, the water graphics, again, bringing it up for like the 15,000th time. And it's just like a nice little nostalgia trip, I guess, for those that really loved Diamond and Pearl. But it's just besides that, like, there's nothing else really in there for me. And I'm sick of fighting trainers that, like, I guess the trainer battles wouldn't be so bad, despite how many there are. They wouldn't be so bad if they weren't as so bland as they are, right? There's like 6 Goldings that you have to fight with a trainer, or 4 Magikarps, or 5 Geodudes, and it's just like, why can't they just like diversify their lineup here? So there's nothing for me to go back to this game until just recently, where I don't know all the exact details, although if you go to Pokemon.com, or I'm sure you've seen it on Twitter or on Instagram or everywhere, they have released a slew of mythicals that you can obtain. Now, a slew is a bit of exaggeration. The first one we did know about was Shaymin, that they announced that way back in the Pokemon Presents at late February, where, well, by the time I'm listening to this, you're kind of too late for it, but during the month of March, if you had downloaded Professor Oak's letter from Mystery Gift, you didn't have to beat the game per se. You didn't have to get the Hall of Fame or National Dex just yet. You just had to download the Professor Oak's letter. Sorry, stumbling on my words. Before March 27th, and then that would then eventually unlock the quest for you to go and find Shaymin, and then you could shiny hunt Shaymin if you really, really wanted to. And then, not too long after that, about a couple weeks after that, they announced 2 more Mythicals would be released in a new patch that would be downloaded for BDSP. The first one was was Arceus. You could obtain Arceus in BDSP, but we'll come back to that in just a moment. And then they also announced Darkrai. Now, to get Darkrai, I believe that you have to download. I think it's a boat ticket to Newfound Moon or something like that. Newfound Island and New Moon Island, I think. And then you just download a ticket, and then you have to make sure that you also have caught Cresselia at this point. And then eventually a person will come up in Conolith City and be like, "Hey, I'll take you to this island, blah blah," and then you can go find and catch Darkrai. And I believe Darkrai is also not shiny locked, so you can shiny hunt Darkrai if you wanted to. And then, let's see, I think that's, okay, so those 2, and then let's go back to now Arceus, because really that's the most important thing. With Shaymin and Darkrai, really, if you didn't get them in BDSP, if you don't get them in BDSP, but you have Pokemon Legends Arceus, and you have a save file from BDSP, then, and also a save file from Sword and Shield, then you also will get Shaymin and Darkrai in Pokemon Legends Arceus. So, it's kind of like, do you want it here, or do you want it here? Although, to shiny hunt, you'd want it in BDSP. You can't shiny hunt it, as far as I know, in Pokemon Legends Arceus. But now let's go back to the Arceus event. There's a bit of a weird thing going on with Arceus where in order for you to obtain the Azure Flute to summon Arceus at the top of the Mount Coronet, you have to have played Pokemon Legends Arceus, but not just have a save file. You actually have to beat all of the main missions, which includes catching Arceus, because if I'm not mistaken, all of that stuff, even after the credits, is still considered main mission quests. And then the Azure Flute will become available in, I guess, in your home in BDSP. You obtain it, and then you go to Mount Coronet. And as long as you captured your legendary Pokemon, your Dialga or Palkia at that point, then you can use the Azure Flute to summon Arceus, and then there you go. It's so I don't know. It's really weird that you have to catch Arceus in BDSP. And I had someone try to explain it to me where like, it makes sense because, if Hisui was back in the day, right? Even though it's kind of like a different universe. Spoiler, sorry. I'm super sorry if that was a big spoiler to people, but it wasn't really clear on the whole universe timeline thing. But the person explained to me, well, if this took back a couple hundred years, then it only made sense that this person that you played in Pokemon Legends Arceus proved to Arceus that humans are good people and that they can work with Pokemon. And so then now fast forwarding to Sinnoh region BDSP, then that's why you're worthy of getting the Azure Flute to get Arceus. Sure, I guess if you want to spin some lore to it, but I don't know. It's just, let's just say that you don't care enough for BDSP, but you have your Arceus. Okay, why go back for the Arceus in BDSP then? And I think the reason why now, and probably I almost want to say it was like a last minute ploy, is that Arceus is not shiny locked. So you can now shiny hunt Arceus. And even before all of this, I think Arceus was only available during like one distribution years ago. And either that, you can just get it through a trade with somebody else on like probably GTS or something. So it's like semi of a big deal if you don't have Pokemon Legends Arceus. But then you have to get Pokemon Legends Arceus to get Arceus in BDSP. It's such a weird thing. But like if you're trying to get players to go back to your game that probably have not played, right? Your data probably shows that you have lost an extensive amount of players since the launch of those remakes. Do you incentivize them to go back because now you have made these particular mythicals shiny available? Because, right, if I were playing Pokemon Legends Arceus, I have my Shaymin, I have my Darkrai, I have my Arceus, I know that they're going to be accessible to Pokemon Home at some point because they did announce that this would be compatible with Pokemon Home at some point. Then I can just transfer them Pokemon Home. I don't have to catch the Shaymin or Darkrai or Arceus in BDSP. Unless I was a shiny hunter and I go, oh, they're not shiny locked. Great. Here's some more content for my Twitch stream or for my YouTube videos or for whatever. I'm going to shiny hunt Arceus and Shaymin and Darkrai. I don't really know if that's still worth it though. Like, I get it. Like, getting legendaries are cool. Getting mythicals are cool. Like, I played all your games. Reward me with this. But it's such a weird thing. Like, I don't understand if maybe you knew that BDSP was not going to be as good, and so you've planned this ahead of time, or you just saw the recent the data trends and you go, oh man, people are not playing this as much as we thought they were going to, so let's now throw this in a loop and then like shiny or like a release of shiny for them as well. I don't know which way to really believe. Like, it's cool, I guess. I mean, I love shiny Pokemon, don't get me wrong, but I'm not one to like actively pursue shiny hunting. I think I very much enjoy the thrill of just randomly seeing it along my journey. And just like with Pokemon Legends Arceus, I've caught a Hippowdon, a Hippopotas, an Onix, two Onix actually, a Paris, and oh my gosh, there's like one more shiny. I've already forgot what that shiny is, but like it was just cool. It's cool for me to have them. Like I like them. I enjoy them because I just randomly encountered them when I was trying to do stuff. And to me, that's just way more exciting than I am going to sit down here for 6 hours, soft reset my game, or go back and forth between a route and then wait for the shiny to happen. Like, I don't know. It just, for me personally, it just does not have that same exciting feel than as if I were just to stumble upon it. My perfect example and like why Pidgey, I believe, will always be my favorite shiny Pokemon, despite like not having like a very significant color change or anything like that. I loved Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. In this case, I played Let's Go Pikachu. Loved the game, enjoyed every minute of it, had a blast, caught out all these Pokemon, and I beat the champion. Right, I beat the Elite Four, beat Blue, I beat the champion, and then it takes you back to your house after watching credits. I'm like, oh, this is great. I remember I think I beat it so late at night. And then I was like, okay, so I'm starting at home. Let me go up to Viridian City and then just save, and then I'm good. Started walking up Route 1, and then right before I see even the exit to this route, shiny Pidgey just flies across my screen, and I go, oh my goodness. And it was such like a wholesome moment for me because like I have thoroughly enjoyed my entire adventure. And I beat the game just as I normally would, and I just maybe the game just thought we're gonna reward you because you had a good time with your game and you deserve this. Like, to me, that's how it felt, and it was such a wholesome moment for me that I just won't forget it. And Pidgey, that shiny Pidgey, will always like stay with me. Like, it always will always have this like everlasting like connection with me, and I'm just so glad that I caught it. And I want to say that was my first ever maybe my first ever natural shiny, not including Pokemon Go, because I've seen plenty of shiny Pokemon in Pokemon Go because of community days and such. But just like with the, I guess, main series, main core games, whatever you want to call them, that was just my first ever like shiny that meant something to me. I think I did try to get a shiny. I did stumble upon a shiny in Gold and Silver way back in the day, but that was before I even knew what shiny even was. And I was like, oh, this is like a weird color Pokemon. I think I remember catching it, but I didn't do anything else with it, so I don't even know if I still have it. But again, I go back to BDSP now because we went off a little bit on a tangent. Like, is this worth it to you guys? Right? You especially for those that demanded the Gen 4 remakes, right? We wanted Diamond and Pearl remakes. Did you enjoy your game? Did you enjoy your remake? And if you didn't, was this enough for you to come back to it? Like, is this the way that you want to market your game? Hey, play these games, but more importantly, you got mythicals that you can get now that is shiny. I just think it's like very lackluster and just like, why? Like, it's such a, like, you have that face of like, huh? You tilt your head and you got all these question marks around you. And then on top of this, another thing they've added was that now Global Wonder Service is open to GWS, which, yes, a lot of the argument is like, why did it take so long? Like, this would have been better way back then. Yeah, I agree to that. Like, it should have been open from the beginning, but I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass here because they did, I think it was like 2 or 3 times they released patches to get rid of like cloning and like whatever people are doing to duplicate Pokemon, which obviously they want to prevent that from going all over the place when they do GWS. So it's like, okay, let's tackle these issues and then open up GWS, which, as from their own business standpoint, I think that was the right way to go. Do we like it over here on our side? No, not necessarily. Probably not. Maybe some of us don't even really care about the GWS, but for them, it was good that they got that cleared out of the way because maybe they got to test out things or work some things out to make this kind of a permanent thing moving forward, so that way they can prevent further trading of, duplicate, clone Pokemon, whatever you want to call them, hacked Pokemon in general. So, there's not much to say about the GWS, though. Like, how many people are really, really going to use it? I think I stepped in it once. I thought it was going to be something like GTS or like surprise trade, I guess, kind of in a way, but it's just, it just wasn't for me. I was like, okay, I'm in, I'm out, done. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, at this point, I downloaded my Professor Oak's letter. I have the Azure Flute. I don't have the national dex, which is kind of a requirement for you to even do the Shaymin stuff and I believe the Arceus stuff. But I think I'm like one Pokemon away from viewing to get the national dex. But then even then, like, am I really going to collect all the Pokemon for the National Dex to get my Shiny Charm? No, I probably just soft reset. Maybe this might actually be the one time where I'm like, you know what? I might as well Shiny Hunt these Mythicals. I've got nothing else to do in this game. Do I want to sit down for 4 hours doing this? No. Am I going to just do it a few times a day? Probably. But I don't think that's just good engagement for the game. I think they should have done something better, or maybe have done some sort of underground event of some kind for players to come back to the game and actually play the features you have in the game and not just say, here's a shiny toy, go get it. It just feels very disconnected for me and just not as meaningful. Like, yeah, it'd be cool to get the shiny Shaymin, and yeah, it'd be cool to get the shiny Arceus, but it'll just be like, okay, now what? Again, I don't really care that much about shinies. Like, I don't actively pursue them. I just prefer stumbling upon them. So for those shiny hunters out there, hey, I'm sorry if this was like totally offensive or just rude to you guys. It wasn't intended really to be. It's just that for, I think, the casual, yeah, I guess the casual players, like, it's not our content. It's not necessarily our thing, and we're not going to go out of our way to buy a $60 game to go through all the main missions just so that we can shiny hunt a Pokemon that we've already been kind of forced to catch anyway in Pokemon Legends. So yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of like how I feel. I know went off a bit on a rant, but it's just, if you're going to pick a game of Pokemon to buy, honestly, I really love Sword and Shield. I think those are great games. So it's either between Sword and Shield or Pokemon Legends Arceus. To each his own, in order for you to like kind of start preparing and to get ready for Scarlet and Violet. But yeah, I don't know if they're going to do anything else more really with BDSP. I kind of doubt it. I don't know what else they could do, because I believe they would have released at this point all the Pokemon that you can catch, because it'd be weird if you can start capturing like Gen 5 through like 8, like those Pokemon, because it wouldn't really be then a true remake, I guess, maybe, I don't know. Well, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee added the Alolan, but they were also just forms of those Pokemon. They weren't like new Pokedex numbers, right? Because if you pick Alolan Geodude, it's not like it's a new number to Pokedex. It's just taking the same spot as Geodude in the Pokedex. So yeah, I don't know. It's all, yeah, that's how I feel. Oof. So, sorry about that. Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there and opinions, and you guys let me know what you think about this whole, like, Mythical release for BDSP, and was it worth it? Do you think it's enough for players to come back to the game? And what you're going to do. Are you going to shiny hunt these Mythicals, or are you just going to leave them alone and just be happy with the ones you get in Pokemon Legends, or whatnot? I don't know. There's lots of questions to be had, and very curious what the majority of players would think. Like, it's hard to trust the internet because the majority of those people are just really negative to be negative, or just most, like, the players that are just kind of okay with it or find any positive tend to get like over. I guess they're quieter than the more negative people. I don't know. Internet's a weird place. All right. Well, with that out of the way, let's go ahead into our last segment, as we always end this with, would be the Pokédex Trivia, where I read to you a Pokédex entry from any particular Pokemon game that this Pokemon was in. You have to guess what the Pokemon is, and I do give you a few hints along the way. I try to help you out, but not try to do anything too obvious. And then after like a short little while, you have to lock in your guess, and then I reveal what the Pokemon is. So, without further ado, here is your Pokédex entry. If anyone were to hurt its pride, it would slash them with wings that can cleave through an ice flow. Now, I guess their biggest takes is wings and slash. Because if wings, well, now we're thinking birds here. Now think about all your possible birds. This Pokemon is a dual type. It has the hidden ability Defiant. Let's see here. It is a stage 2 Pokemon, meaning it is the final evolution of a 3-stage evolution. I almost gave away the other two, but you got me, right? It's the third final step, so to speak. let's see, what else can I tell you about this guy? It's a fairly tall Pokemon. I would assume a tall Pokemon. Although I know in a particular game, when you first actually encounter this Pokemon, it is quite massive. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's not much more I can add on to this that would not be a dead giveaway. So I'm sorry. You just got to think wings and slash. Wings and slash. There's only like four Pokemon I have in mind, but then maybe the Ice Flow is a hint. Possibly? All right, I'm going to read it to you one more time and then just lock in your guess once I am done. If anyone were to hurt its pride, it would slash them with wings that can cleave through an ice flow. All right, go ahead and lock in your guess. Here it is. It is none other than number 395, Empoleon. Yep, Empoleon, the Emperor Pokemon. The Water and Steel type Pokemon whose original ability is Torrent, but then has the hidden ability Defiant. Evolves from Prinplup starting at level 36. I love Empoleon. I love Piplup. Piplup is adorable. And Prinplup, thinking back on this right now, since we're on this Pokemon, I think out of all mid starter evolutions, Prinplup is probably one of my favorites. It's not one that I look at it and go, oh, this is horrendous. This is disgusting. This is terrible. Like Marshtomp, for example. I like Prinplup. I like Prinplup a lot. And then Empoleon, man, I love the fact that it's Water Steel. It's such a really cool typing. Let's see if there's any trivia for it. And there is a couple bullet points, just like 2-ish kind of bullet points. No other Pokemon has the same type combination as Empoleon. Due to this unique type combination, Empoleon is also the only fully evolved starter Pokemon which neither resists nor takes double damage from the moves of the other starter Pokemon. Oh, cool. Empoleon is also the only starter Pokemon to have the Steel type. In Pokemon Black and White, a biker gang called the Black Empoleon will gather along the Two-Blind Bridge on Friday nights. If the player defeats their leader, they will rename themselves after the player's lead Pokemon. Oh, I did not know that. I vaguely remember that moment, though. I vaguely remember that scene in Black and White. But I didn't know that you could go back and defeat them again, but then they rename themselves. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, really dig this Pokemon. I think the Shiny's alright. I can't remember what it is, but I know I have it. Do I have it in Pokemon Go? Has that? Yeah, that Shiny has been out, I think, right? Should be. Yeah, I love the fact that it's got this very awesome, like, slick design with its wings, and it's got like this trident thing going on in its face. It's very, very cool. I hope actually they put this Pokemon in Pokemon Unite. That would be awesome. Oh, I would have a water attacker then. Oh, because Blastoise is my water defender. I need a water attacker. There's also Greninja, and I do like Greninja, but oh man, I'd be so down for Empoleon. Oh man, please Pokemon Unite, please do it. All right, that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you again, everybody, for listening. I'm going to be also completely honest with you about something. I had actually recorded this episode, not this specific episode, but this episode where I talk about the Mythicals, like last Sunday. But for whatever reason, this app did not save it. I have no idea what happened. And so I'm very, very nervous that I've done all this talking again and it still didn't save. Oof, that would hurt me. But I hope not. I hope that it went through. So sorry for getting this episode to you late. It would have come sooner, but this app really did kind of mess it up. So hopefully it doesn't mess it up again. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to vent out there a little bit. Sorry. But yeah, please feel free to comment down if you're listening off of YouTube. Much appreciated. Also, you can listen to this from podcast, Spotify, I meant, and Apple Podcasts. That's what I meant, Apple Podcasts. And I guess I'll do the thing where if you're listening from YouTube, please comment, like, subscribe. Some of you have been doing that. Super appreciate it. Really helps me out because it just motivates me to continue to do this. I like the fact that I can just talk my opinions on Pokemon, and then some of you will kind of resonate with it. It just makes me super happy. And then if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I'm gonna ask for it. I'm gonna do it. Please rate and review. And it as awesome would it be to consistently get like 5 out of 5, which I know it's not going to happen. Even if by some alternate universe miracle that I get it really big in the podcast scene, it's not going to even be possible to like avoid a negative comment. It's going to happen. So even if you don't like any of this stuff that you're hearing, if you think I'm super negative or super ranty or too positive, whatever, from whatever episode you're listening to, hey, if you really want to genuinely write a review about it because that's how you feel and you want to like let other people know, by all means, go for it, man. I'm open to constructive criticism. Just don't be rude or jerk kind of about it. Just be straightforward, get to your point, and then I'll reflect on that. I'm very open, especially the fact that I am still new to this. Despite me doing this for at least a year, I am still very new to the space, and I want to get bigger with it, or in a sense, I want to be better with it. That's really my main goal. So, hey, I would appreciate any sort of comments. If you guys want to reach out to me on social media, you can follow me on Twitter and or Instagram at SpartanStrike07. Or if you want to write me an email, you can write me an email at spartanstrike07@gmail.com. All of that stuff will be in the show notes, of course, as I try to usually put it there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for joining me. I think next week I want to talk about the Pokemon TCG Pokemon Go sets that have been announced and kind of look through all the listings for that, because that seems to be like a really interesting set. But you know what? I'll hold off, of course, my discussion for that. But yeah. Have a great week. I look forward to you next time so we continue talking about everything and anything Pokemon.